Incredible moment revealed, teacher's unexpected decision transforms black student's life forever. The sirens blared outside Jamal's window, a soundtrack to his 12-hour days of dreaming about music. He was 16, living in Detroit, where his neighborhood felt woven together by fear and aspiration, each echo of the ambulance a stark reminder of the struggles surrounding him. Yet, in the solitude of his room, he made magic happen with an old keyboard, a universe of beats and rhythms just waiting to be born. He could hear it all in his head. But out there, the world was hard, filled with whispers that told him a kid like him could never make it in music. Then there was his mother, a tireless warrior working double shifts at the local diner, her face often masked with exhaustion but painted with resilience. Jamal hugged the weight of her sacrifice every day, feeling both inspired and crushed. He wanted to give her everything, but the poverty and prejudice they faced felt like chains around his dreams. Over at Lincoln High School, Mrs. Thompson, known for her heart of gold, watched Jamal closely. She knew they were all battling platforms that underestimated them. Her classroom walls were splashed with hope, every poster a mantra of unity. One afternoon, as she graded papers, she spotted a small, crumbled piece tucked in Jamal's notebook. It was a rap lyric, raw and vivid, piercing her heart with its truth. Why hasn't anyone ever seen this? She thought, realizing how critical it was for Jamal's voice to be heard. Motivated by a spark of determination, Mrs. Thompson decided they would host a fundraising concert to showcase her students' talents, especially Jamal's. But as she pitched the idea to colleagues, skepticism flooded the room. What chance do we really have? They whispered. They were right to be concerned. She knew the budget cuts loomed over them like dark clouds, threatening their precious music program. Against the odds, Mrs. Thompson pressed on. With Jamal's intuitive magic infused into the atmosphere, the students galvanized together. Shortly after, they ventured beyond the school walls, confronting the bittersweet truth of their community. Some were inspired, others hesitant, but everyone felt the familiar pulse of solidarity echoing through their hearts. As the concert deadline approached, Jamal was a ticking time bomb of nerves. The pressure loomed large. He thought about his mom, her sacrifices, and the future he wanted to create. Then came the unexpected. A local celebrity caught wind of their mission to save music in their school. The news spread, they had a chance. The auditorium filled with local faces, a vibrant tapestry of support, and when Jamal stepped onto the stage, gripping the microphone with fidgety hands, his chest tightened. This moment was everything. His heart raced in sync with the pounding of the crowd. Would his voice rise above the noise, or be drowned out by fears and doubts? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. He took a breath, feeling the weight of his mother's hopes and the community's dreams. With conviction, he opened his mouth to express everything: his struggles, his journey, and his burning desire to be heard. In that moment, as the crowd leaned in, the air crackled with an electric kind of energy. Would he break free from all the noise, or would he be silenced, just another echo lost in the chaos? Jamal stood on that stage, the spotlight warmer than he had imagined. The buzz of the crowd was intense, a mix of hope and trepidation swirling around him. For a fleeting moment, doubt crept into his mind, threatening to paralyze him. But then he locked eyes with Mrs. Thompson, who stood at the edge of the stage, her smile a lighthouse guiding him through the fog. With a deep inhale, he pushed through the fear. The first words spilled forth like a rushing river, sharp, raw, exhilarating. His lyrics wrapped around the audience, depicting not just his world but the unfiltered truth of so many lives. The rhythm carried him, the wave of sound crashing, lifting him higher and higher as he poured out his heart. Every verse resonated. Faces in the crowd shifted from curiosity to something deeper: recognition. Jamal could see it in the way their eyes sparkled with understanding. They felt his struggles, his dreams, and his fight against the odds. The murmurs began, a ripple of connection spreading through the audience. He could almost taste the shared dreams hanging in the air, and suddenly, he was not just a boy from Detroit, he was a voice for his community. As he reached the chorus, voices joined his, an anthem of unity rising to the rafters. Jamal felt weightless, standing atop a collective heartbeat. With every note, he released the chains of fear that had held him captive for so long. In that moment, nothing else mattered: the sirens outside, the doubts from before, the world that had often told him he didn't belong. He belonged here. His heart pounded like a drum as he neared the climax of the performance. The energy shifted, swelling into something so much bigger than he had ever dreamed. People were on their feet, clapping to the rhythm, faces alight with passion, a community standing together, celebrating each other. His mother wiped a tear from her eye, her hands clasped over her heart, every ounce of her love pouring out in that singular moment. When he reached the final line, it wasn't just the lyrics that lingered, it was the very essence of who he was, resonating through the air. The last note hung suspended, straining against the silence that followed. And then the eruption came. Cheers, claps, and shouts blended into a glorious wave that crashed over him, drowning and lifting him all at once. In that deafening applause, Jamal felt more than just affirmation. He felt purpose surging through his veins, the knowledge that his voice could inspire change, that he was not alone in this fight. As he stepped off stage, pulses of adrenaline coursed through his body, intertwining with relief and joy. With a few deep breaths, he tried to absorb what had just happened, but then he saw him, the local celebrity who had shown up. There was a conversation happening, eyes wide with intrigue, a potential opportunity brewing. Jamal's heart raced again, now for a different reason. Questions flooded his mind. What could this mean for his future? For his music? And in the back of his mind, doubt reared its head once more, but this time he stood taller. He understood that this was just the beginning, an opening into a bigger world. Would he seize this moment or let it slip away? The weight of possibility pressed on him, feelings of fear and excitement warring within him. What lay ahead could change everything, but would he be ready for it? Jamal stood still for a heartbeat, trying to gather himself as the roar of the crowd faded into a distant hum. He caught sight of the local celebrity, Marcus Lane, stepping towards him, his confident stride drawing attention. The whispers began, and Jamal could feel his excitement mingling with anxiety, like a swarm of butterflies in his stomach. "Great performance, kid," Marcus said, offering a firm handshake. His eyes sparkled with genuine appreciation. "You've got something special. We need more voices like yours." Jamal's breath caught. This was at the moment he had dreamed of since he first picked up a pen. His voice shaking slightly, he replied, "Thank you. I just want people to hear what we go through, to connect with it." Marcus nodded, his expression turning serious. "You're already doing that. But there's a lot more you can do." He paused, weighing his words. "I want to help. I'm working on a project to showcase local talent, and I'd like for you to be a part of it." An electric thrill surged through Jamal. This was the opportunity he had longed for, but doubts crept in like the shadows. But what if I'm not good enough? He hated how small his voice sounded. "Kid, you just owned that stage," Marcus replied, his tone firm yet encouraging. "The only thing holding you back is your fear. Let us change that." Jamal absorbed those words, the weight of uncertainty still pushing against his heart. What if he stumbled? What if he let everyone down? The thought threatened to drag him back, but then he remembered Mrs. Thompson's unwavering smile, the pride shining in his mother's eyes. He couldn't let fear take the reins again. "Okay," he found himself saying, a trembling excitement rushing through his veins. "I'm in." Marcus grinned, the kind of grin that promised possibilities. "Let us set up some meetings. I'll have my team contact you. Trust me, we'll make waves. As their conversation continued, Jamal's thoughts spun. How could he navigate this new world? He was still the same boy from the neighborhood, grappling with challenges every day. Questions surged like a tidal wave. Would this make him lose touch with his community? Would they see him as a sellout if he made it big? Hey, Marcus's voice cut through his spiraling thoughts. Worry less about what others think and focus on what you want to say with your music. Authenticity is everything. Jamal felt the truth of those words sink in. The crowd cheering for him wasn't merely applause, it was a call to embrace his voice, to tell his story. As the energy muted around them, his mother made her way toward him, her expression a mix of pride and concern. You did amazing, Jamal. I'm so proud of you. She wrapped her arms around him, squeezing tightly. Mom, you won't believe what just happened. He started, the thrill bubbling in his chest in that moment, the possibilities stretched before him like a vast horizon. But with excitement came the weight of expectations, and doubts persisted. He knew he had to navigate this path carefully, but he sensed a new resolve forming within him. What if he succeeded? What if he faltered? He felt the tug between fear and dreams pulling him in two directions. As the evening unfolded, Jamal stood at the crossroads of opportunity and uncertainty. The spotlight had shown him one way, but shadows still whispered the doubts of his past. With that knowledge resting heavy in his mind, one question echoed louder than the applause: could he really transform his passion into a lifelong purpose? The answer felt tantalizingly close, yet just out of reach. The days that followed felt surreal for Jamal. Each morning he woke up hoping today would be the day that he'd receive a call from Marcus's team. He spent those restless nights imagining what might happen: rehearsals, studio sessions, maybe even his big break. The phone calls would come, but they'd all start with a similar preamble: hello, this is Marcus's team. Each time his heart raced, only to dip slightly when the conversations wrapped up without anything solid. In between waiting, Jamal turned to his writing. Every line felt infused with his hopes and fears. He poured his experiences onto the pages raw, unfiltered. He found solace in playing the guitar, strumming melodies that mingled with his thoughts, crafting lyrics that resonated with the streets he called home. But a nagging voice always lingered in the back of his mind: what did success actually mean? Hey, Jamal. You coming to the community center later? It was Aisha, his longtime friend, her bright smile cutting through his contemplation as she leaned against the side of the building. Yeah, thinking about it, he replied, forcing a smile back, though his heart felt heavy. You should. Mrs. Thompson's organizing a poetry slam. You could perform. Jamal's gut twisted at the mention of Mrs. Thompson. She had been his mentor, always pushing him to find his voice. I don't know, Aisha. What if I bomb it? Aisha crossed her arms, that typical defiant spark in her eyes. What if you don't? What if you blow everyone away? You can't just hide now that you've touched a bigger stage, Jamal. Your community needs to hear you too. Her words stung, but there was truth in them. The vibrant faces in his neighborhood, friends, families, even the young ones dreaming under flickering streetlights, were the ones who had shaped him. He couldn't forget them, and they shouldn't forget him either. Okay, I'll think about it, he said reluctantly, knowing he couldn't dismiss the thought. When that evening rolled around, Jamal found himself at the community center, the familiar walls buzzing with laughter and chatter. The atmosphere was warm and welcoming, and nostalgia washed over him as he took a moment to soak everything in. He spotted Mrs. Thompson among the crowd, her silver hair gleaming in the light, her eyes scanning for him. Jamal. There you are. She called out, beckoning him over. Hey, Mrs. Thompson. His voice was small, almost swallowed by the noise around them. I'm so glad you're here. Would you consider reading something for us? She urged, her eyes wide with anticipation. He hesitated, feeling a lump rising in his throat. I don't know if I can. She could see right through him, her gaze steady and encouraging. "Remember what I always tell you, your voice is powerful. Don't be afraid to use it, especially not now." Jamal watched others share their words, their fears, their stories pouring out like water from a fountain. Each poet took the mic, weaving their struggles and triumphs into tapestries of emotion. And suddenly, he realized this was home. These were the people who had cheered him on and whispered words of encouragement when he thought no one was listening. They deserved to hear what he had to say, no matter what new paths were opening up for him. With a deep breath, he stepped toward the stage, the mic in his hand feeling like a key rather than a weight. As he opened his mouth to speak, he could hear the echoes of his fears in his head crescendoing, but they were drowned out by the fires of resolve igniting in his heart. The moment had come not just for him, but for everyone who believed he had something to say. And as he spoke to the crowd, the familiar warmth of the spotlight enveloped him, wrapping around his very soul. But just as his confidence grew, a sudden crashing realization hit him. What if his new life with Marcus faced backlash from those he loved most? The crowd hung on his every word, oblivious to the storm brewing within him. The performance drifted into the night as he poured out his heart. But the question remained, could he truly walk both worlds without losing himself? The applause swelled around Jamal like a warm embrace. He poured his fears and dreams into that mic, and the crowd's energy pushed him higher. But as the echoes of clapping faded, the weight of his thoughts began to seep back in. Would they understand the choices he was making? Would they still cheer for him when he stepped into a world that felt foreign and glittered with the promise of fame? He stepped down from the stage, heart racing, searching for Aisha in the crowd. When their eyes met, a wide grin broke across her face, one filled with pride that made his heart swell. But behind that pride flickered a hint of concern that pulled at him, making him feel exposed. It was the same concern he saw in Mrs. Thompson's eyes as she approached him. "I knew you had it in you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "You captured every heart in here tonight." "Thanks, Mrs. Thompson. I really want to make everyone proud," he admitted, feeling vulnerable. "But what if my big break changes everything? What if I don't fit in anymore?" "Jamal, you'll always fit in. Remember why you started." She put a hand on his shoulder, steady and reassuring. "Success doesn't mean abandoning who you are. It means taking who you are to new heights." Her words lingered in the air as Jamal nodded, but doubt still nagged at him. After all, the world he hoped to step into wasn't just glitter, it had shadows too. Shadows of expectation, pressure, and the fear of losing himself. He lingered in the community center long after most of the crowd had dispersed, chatting with old friends while his mind spiraled over and over. Each friendly laugh seemed to echo the voices of those who feared he'd forget them. In those moments, he realized something: his success wasn't just about him. It was a community's dream too. By the time he left, the night had wrapped itself around him like an old friend, cool and comforting. He walked home slowly, strumming absent-mindedly at his guitar as he took in the night sky, a canvas of stars reminding him that anything was possible. But in the days that followed, as his phone continued to ring with promises from Marcus's team, the pull between two worlds tightened, each call a reminder that he was tiptoeing on the edge of something life-changing yet terrifying. Then came the unsolicited advice. Friends from school, acquaintances from the neighborhood, they offered their opinions about how he should act now that he was being noticed. Jamal's struggle wasn't just with his own desires but with managing expectations and not drifting away from his roots. One evening, while trying to drown out the chaos in his head with music, Jamal received a text from Aisha: "You should bring your best stuff to the next meeting with Marcus. They want to see your soul." That hit him hard. Aisha wasn't wrong. He needed to blend the fire of his past with the dreams of his future. But how? What would he include? What stories from his neighborhood felt worthy? His hands paused over the strings, uncertainty creeping in again, and just when he thought he had clarity, another message popped up, this time from Mrs. Thompson: "Jamal, I want you to consider sharing your journey at the local youth center. Speak about your experiences. Too many youths feel lost, and you could light a path. Could he really do that? Was he ready to stand before them again? How could he find the balance between being an artist on a rise and guiding those who needed him? His heart raced at the thought. The crossroads loomed ahead, and he felt the weight of both his community and his ambition pulling him in two directions. He needed to make a decision, and fast. As the moon hung high above, cloaking him in silver light, Jamal pondered the future. With everything he had to give, how could he possibly choose? He closed his eyes, feeling the cool breeze brush against his skin. Tomorrow, he would have to decide: stay with the familiar warmth of home or leap into the unknown light of fame. But could he truly find a way to do both, and what would happen if his voice was both heard on a big stage and echoed around his community? The thought lingered, but the answer remained just out of reach. Dawn broke with a vibrant orange hue spilling into Jamal's room, carrying a weight of expectation that hung in the air like the scent of fresh coffee. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wrestling with the thoughts that spiraled around him. Today was the day. Today, he would decide which path to take. He swung his legs over the side of the bed and rubbed his face, willing the fatigue from last night's questions to dissipate. What if he spoke at the youth center? Would it truly make a difference? What if he shared his struggles and dreams? Would he be enough? Jamal picked up his guitar, the familiar smooth wood beneath his fingers grounding him. He began to strum a few chords, their resonance filling the quietness with gentle warmth. The music flowed through him, carrying away some doubt, but it didn't fully silence the chaos swirling in his mind. After a quick breakfast, he decided to take a detour to the youth center before meeting Marcus's team again. The familiar sights and sounds washed over him, wrapped in memories of laughter, challenges, and lessons from those who had come before him. As he approached the center, his heart thumped with an anxious rhythm. He stepped inside, greeted by a small group of kids playing on the carpet, and the warm smile of Ms. Carter, their mentor. "Hey, Jamal. What brings you here?" she asked, enthusiasm brightening her face. "I was thinking about maybe sharing some music. Maybe talk about what it means to follow your dreams." The words felt heavy in his mouth, but Ms. Carter's face lit up. "That's a fantastic idea. The kids need to see someone they can relate to, someone who understands their struggles." Her validation washed over him like a soothing balm. Maybe he could do this. As he settled on the makeshift stage, a few curious faces turned his way. He looked out into their eager, innocent eyes and felt a thread tying him to each of them, a thread woven with hopes and fears. Taking a deep breath, he started to speak, allowing his vulnerable side to shine through. "I know what it feels like to think your dreams are out of reach," he began. "But I want you all to know that your story matters, just like mine. And right now, I want to share a song that means everything to me." With every word and chord, Jamal felt a shift within himself. The insecurities that tied him down slowly began to loosen as the kids listened intently. They laughed, they nodded, and some even joined in, their voices creating a chorus that echoed through the center. In that moment, he wasn't just Jamal the rising artist, he was Jamal the storyteller, the inspiration. Afterward, he stepped off the stage, exhilarated yet exhausted. The kids rushed up, their eyes sparkling. "Can you come back? We want more," one of them exclaimed. Their excitement echoed in his heart, sparking a light he hadn't felt before. As he made his way back to the door, Ms. Carter caught up to him. "You have a gift, Jamal. Don't ever underestimate that. You can impact these kids' lives in ways you haven't even realized yet." The weight of gratitude filled him. It hit him hard. This was the bridge between the two worlds he had been struggling to reconcile. He could be an artist, rising on stages, while still offering his voice to those who needed to be heard, but just as he stepped into the open air, his phone buzzed in his pocket. It was a message from Marcus's team, loaded with the anticipation of the meeting that awaited him. With his heart racing, he faced the crossroads again. Could he really balance both worlds, the bright lights of fame and the warmth of his community? As he stood there, the wind fluttering through the trees, he knew he was at the edge of a decision that could change everything. He steeled himself and clicked on the message, ready for what came next. What was waiting on the other side? Would they welcome the storyteller he had just become? Jamal's heart raced as he opened the message. Meeting at 2 p.m. Bring your best ideas. Let us make your vision a reality. The excitement in the text was palpable, but with it came a wave of pressure. This was it. This was the moment he had dreamed about. Yet, the kids' faces from earlier lingered in his mind, reminding him of the responsibility that now danced at the edge of his heart. That he quickly made his way home, his mind swirling. Each step felt heavier, the weight of expectation pulling him down. What if he made it big and forgot where he came from? He shook away the thoughts, but they clung to him like the morning mist that had lingered over the trees. Jamal had spent countless hours perfecting his songs, dreaming of stages, lights, and crowds. But now, as he thought about the youth center, the thrill of recognition began to feel small against the vastness of what he could contribute. He could help shape lives. Just like Ms. Carter had said. Your story matters. He let her words replay in his mind, pulling him toward a decision. Arriving at home, Jamal sat on his bed with his guitar, searching for clarity in the familiar strings. Yet, as he strummed, his thoughts were split between two worlds. Fame and community. Both drew him in different directions. He could play arenas, bring people together through his music, but did that mean leaving behind the roots that had nurtured him? The guitar notes hung in the air, melancholic yet hopeful. Closing his eyes, he envisioned a future where he didn't have to choose. What if his success could elevate the community around him? His phone rang, breaking him from his thoughts. It was Marcus. Hey, man. Are you ready for tomorrow? This meeting could change the game. Yeah, I'm ready. Just a lot on my mind, Jamal replied, the unease evident in his tone. No doubt. But remember, you've already inspired those kids today. That's a big deal. You've got this. Marcus's encouraging voice felt like a lifeline thrown into the turbulent waters of Jamal's thoughts. Thanks, Marcus. I just want to make sure I don't lose sight of what matters. Bro, you won T. Just stay true to yourself, alright? As they hung up, Jamal stared out the window. The sun was setting, casting golden rays across the neighborhood. People were coming home, laughing, sharing stories. His heart swelled with warmth. He realized that he didn't have to compartmentalize his life. He could intertwine them. He could be both the star and the voice for his community. The next morning, Jamal found himself back at the youth center, ready to seize the moment. He felt invigorated, a mixture of nerves and excitement electrifying him. As he watched the kids gather, his heart surged with possibilities. Today wasn't just about him, it was about them too. Hey, everyone. I'm back. He called out. The kids cheered, their energy uplifting him. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their hopes resting on him. I know I said I'd be sharing more songs, but today, I want to hear from you. What do your dreams look like? Their eyes lit up, and hands shot up in the air. Jamal felt a rush of inspiration. This was how he could blend his two worlds, by guiding their voices as he shared his own. But just as he started, a familiar figure entered the center. Ms. Carter walked in, a serious look on her face. Jamal, can we talk for a second? His heart sank. Had something gone wrong? As the kids continued buzzing with ideas behind him, the uncertainty settled like a shadow. What did she want to tell him? Jamal turned, anxiety dancing in his stomach. He needed to know, was this a moment that could lift him higher, or would it be another hurdle in his journey ahead? Ms. Carter's voice was calm, but Jamal could see the urgency in her eyes. Can we step outside? The air outside felt heavy, a stark contrast to the bright gathering inside. Jamal followed her, his heart pounding. He knew Ms. Carter had been a pillar in his life, but the serious tone made him uneasy. Jamal, I wanted to catch you before you head to your meeting, she began. There is something important I need to share with you. He swallowed hard, his mind racing. Did she know about the opportunity? Did she have concerns? What is going on? Ms. Carter glanced around, ensuring they were alone, before continuing. I've seen how you inspire those kids. But I want you to think about something bigger. We have a chance to create a music program, one that could change lives. But it needs a leader. Jamal's heart skipped. The words hung in the air between them, each syllable resonating with possibility. You mean me? Yes. You have a gift, Jamal. You can shape these kids' futures while pursuing your own dreams. You could blend both. You could make it happen. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. The idea was overwhelming and exhilarating all at once. Let a program? Inspire like Ms. Carter inspired him? But I have this meeting today, he finally said, his voice thick with uncertainty. What if I get signed and have to travel? I can't commit to something I might not be able to handle. Ms. Carter stepped in closer, her gaze steady. This meeting is crucial, but so is your heart. If you want to make a difference, you can do it here, too. Think about the responsibility you carry. You can be the star, yes, but you're destined to be so much more. He felt a swell of emotion. Her faith in him ignited something deep within. Yet, doubt tugged at the corners of his mind. Would he fail? Just imagine, Jamal, she continued, her voice softening. A music program where these kids grow, create, dream, and they see you as their example. You'd never just be a star. You'll be a legend in their lives. He took a deep breath, the reality setting in. The kids relied on him. They looked to him for hope. Could he really weave both paths together? Suddenly, one of the kids came running out, his face alight with excitement. Jamal. You have to come back. We think we have this great idea for a song. You have to hear it. Jamal looked back at Ms. Carter, the corners of his mouth twitching into a smile. The pull of the community was undeniable. Here they were, buzzing with energy and possibility, and he was exactly where he needed to be. Go ahead, Jamal, Ms. Carter encouraged. You can take the first step today. He turned toward the center, where laughter and hope echoed. Today was no longer just about him. I'll think about it, he promised her sincerely, then headed back inside, his spirit brighter than before. As he settled back into the scene, voices chattering with creativity, he knew he faced a decision that could change everything. Could he truly balance his dreams and his responsibilities? But as he watched the kids sharing their excitement, he felt a spark ignite in him. Maybe he didn't have to choose after all. The path ahead felt clearer, but still layered with challenges, and just like that, the door swung wide open to the future. What if this was just the beginning of a much larger journey? The room was alive with energy. Kids gathered in small groups, their laughter ringing off the walls as they sprawled out on the floor, sheets of paper covered in doodles and notes. Jamal stepped into their world, feeling a rush of nostalgia. It reminded him of his own youth, full of dreams, laughter, and a longing for something greater. Jamal. One of the boys called out. We think this song could be really cool, but we need your help. The excitement was contagious, their creativity palpable. As he knelt beside them, he felt the weight of Ms. Carter's words settle on his shoulders like a warm blanket. He wasn't just here to enjoy the moment. He was being called to be part of something transformative. What's the idea? Jamal asked, his mind racing. The faces around him lit up as they began to explain. One kid waved a crumpled piece of paper, the lyrics barely legible. It's about chasing your dreams. Can you help us make it sound good? A smile spread across his face. They were writing about hope and ambition, the very things he grappled with himself. Absolutely. He said, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. Each line of their lyrics sparked familiar feelings, they echoed his own journey. As they brainstormed, he sensed a shift inside him. The shadow of uncertainty that had clouded his mind began to dissipate. Maybe this was the opportunity to blend music with purpose that Miss Carter had suggested. The realization washed over him, he could lead them in crafting their dreams into melodies. Time slipped away as they pieced together a simple tune, laughter punctuating the air with every note. They were a team, and for the first time, Jamal felt the spark of what it meant to be a mentor. These kids were looking to him, not just for musical guidance, but for inspiration. The energy from their excitement lit a fire in him. He wanted to do this more. When the song was nearly complete, a girl with bright braids raised her hand. "What if we performed it at the community center? People need to hear this." Her eyes shone with determination, like she believed every word she sang. The idea struck Jamal like lightning. They wouldn't just create music, they would share their message, start a movement. He bit his lip, contemplating the weight of the commitment but feeling that familiar pulse of excitement. "Let us do it," he said finally, and cheers erupted around him. "But we need to make it polished first. Let us practice every week until the performance." As he watched them celebrate, Jamal couldn't ignore the gnawing thought of his meeting looming in the back of his mind. The possibility of being signed weighed heavily over him. Could he really balance this new responsibility with his own aspirations? Yet as he looked back at the kids, their faces glowing with ambition, it felt easier to push the anxiety aside. This was no mere collection of children. They were a part of him now, their dreams as valuable as his own. "All right, team." Jamal clapped his hands together. "Let us make magic happen." With smiles all around, he felt that spark again, the sense of purpose that came from two worlds converging into one beautiful harmony. As the kids launched into the final rehearsals of their new song, Jamal couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. But just as he caught a glimpse of the future brightening ahead, his phone buzzed in his pocket, a notification flashing across the screen. His heart sank as he read the message. What would unfold next? Would this incredible journey come at a cost? The sun shone brightly over Detroit as Jamal stood backstage for the community performance. The dim backstage area buzzed with nervous energy, each kid sharing anxious glances, yet hearts full of hope. They were ready to unveil their creation, an original song about dreaming big. And as Jamal paced, his heart raced not just for himself, but for all of them. He remembered the burden of doubt that had haunted him before, the shadows that whispered he couldn't do both, be an artist in the spotlight and a mentor grounded in his roots. But today, each beat of his heart seemed to echo back an answer: why not both? The community center was filling up, familiar faces in the crowd creating a backdrop of belonging. Finally, it was time. Jamal met the excited eyes of his kids. "You ready?" he asked, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "We're ready," they shouted back, their voices full of conviction. As they stepped onto the stage, the applause thundered through the auditorium, affirming everything Jamal had dreamed. He could feel Mrs. Thompson's pride and naturally, his mother's tear-tinged smile hovering in the air. A spirit resurrected through them all. The music began, their practiced notes intertwining like threads of a vibrant tapestry. Jamal took the lead, letting his voice soar, and with every word, he felt the weight lift off his chest. The kids followed suit, harmonizing, laughter spilling out amidst joyous melodies. This wasn't just a performance, it was a platform, it was life. Halfway through, Jamal locked eyes with his mother. She beamed, her energy reaching him like a lifeline across the sea. He remembered everything: her sacrifices, her relentless spirit. This was why he fought, this was why he made every night spent writing worthwhile. "Dreams aren't just for the sky," he sang, the lyrics pouring from his soul. "They're in our hearts, and together we'll rise high." A ripple of encouragement surged through the audience. People cheered, others cried tears of joy. Jamal could feel that same pulse they shared during rehearsals, their future woven together like a glorious call to action. As the final notes resonated, the applause erupted with a thunderous wave crashing against him. Jamal stood there, breathing in the moment, feeling the overwhelming love that surrounded him. The kids beamed, and together they took a bow, a family united in purpose. When they stepped off stage, the crowd still buzzing, the energy was intoxicating. Jamal felt a new sense of clarity. He had unearthed a path, he could chase his dreams while raising his community. A text message found its way to him, and his heart skipped. Marcus's team wanted to meet, but in that instant, understanding washed over him. Fame didn't define him, his journey was marked by connection. That opportunity was just a new chapter, not the end. He needed to create music that echoed not just in arenas but in the hearts of those he loved. In the days that followed, as Jamal entered the meeting with Marcus's team, he felt different. He was no longer just the aspiring artist seeking a chance, he was a voice carrying the dreams of his community. He shared his vision, combining his success with a music initiative that would empower local youth. The eyes around him sparkled with interest. It wasn't just about Jamal anymore, it was about lifting others as he climbed. As he left the meeting with confirmations on the project's future, Jamal was flooded with hope. His dreams, once chained by doubt and fear, now soared in the bright expanse of possibility. There would be obstacles ahead, they were unavoidable. Yet, he recognized them as part of growth, part of life. He knew deep down he would always sketch the beats of his songs while, in shadows, the laughter of the kids at the community center would inspire his words. Standing tall, ready to embrace both worlds, Jamal didn't just transform his life, he began a movement, embracing both his artistry and his roots. This was just the beginning, and he was ready. He stepped into the future, carrying the hopes of his community, a testament to perseverance and passion. The world was big, but it wasn't enough without those who believed in him. And as Jamal set off to make waves in the music industry, he did so with a full heart, a radiant smile, and an unwavering commitment to amplifying every voice around him. Don't let this journey end here. If you felt the power of Jamal's story, you need to subscribe now to our channel. Hit that button and join our community. Leave a like now to help spread the word and keep inspiring stories like this alive. Comment your feelings about Jamal's transformation and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need this motivation today. Don't wait not even one more second to show your support. This is the moment for us to rise together.